Hello everyone, my name is Alena and welcome to the podcast Between Two Realities, Ukrainian Mental Health and Adaptation in the UK. Hi Anastasia, I'm really glad to have this open and heartfelt conversation over a cup of tea on a cozy coffee shop terrace.
Alena, thank you for inviting me for creating a podcast on such an important topic. Thank you.
I know that you came to England in 2022 with a small child in your arms, without any friends or support. That was a huge step, and I would love to go back to those moments with you. Looking back at your first days in the UK, what was the most challenging part of adapting to a completely new life? And what helped you get through it?
I believe the hardest part was accepting that I had to build a new life from scratch. I simply couldn't believe it in general. But I had to act quickly because my child depended on me. Our sponsor family, Matthew and Hannah, didn't just give us a place to stay. They made us feel truly at home, for which I'm incredibly grateful.
You know, it's really great that you met people who helped you. Now, almost 2 years later, how has this journey changed you and what does home feel like for you today?
Now, literally, I have two homes, one in London and one in Kiev. It's a strange feeling, and I often have to clarify with my friends which home I mean in our conversations. I've come to see home as whenever my child and I are together, which helps me cope emotionally. My child has now spent more time in the UK than in Ukraine, so for her, home is probably here.
Thank you for sharing your brave story. I really appreciate it.
Alena, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Each of us faces challenges, and sometimes it's not easy to find the right answers. Today, we'll talk about this with a certified consultant psychologist, Igor Korniets, who provides counseling to Ukrainians both in Ukraine and around the world. His experience makes him well-suited to help us gain a deeper understanding. Igor, it's great to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
So, let's get straight to it. Around 6.8 million Ukrainian refugees have been displaced around the world, of whom 254,000 are in the UK. We all understand that people seeking safety in the UK are often deeply traumatized by horrific experiences and devastating losses. How does the experience of war affect the human psyche, and what are the main stages of living with trauma for Ukrainians abroad?
All this depends on what kind and extent of trauma the Ukrainians who have around the world have suffered, because someone left his homeland under terrible attacks and someone left from places where there had been no attacks. Someone even survived under the occupation of the Russian Federation forces, and someone was leaving Western Ukraine, and these are different moments. At the same time, everyone is equally pressured by the fact that they want to kill you. This feeling that they want to kill you is so memorable, and it has an effect regardless of the degree of psychological destruction. The realization that there is a country, a people, a huge army, huge country, huge army who wants to kill you, to kill us all, I mean Ukrainians. This is already a big and serious pressure. The second point is that you are forced to live in another country and cannot habitually build your career where you are used to. Third, you have to be separated from your loved ones. Fourth, you have to adapt to yourself to a different culture, which is also a serious stress. Fifth, fellow citizens who stayed in Ukraine tend to blame you or of those people who left the Ukraine in betrayal.
How can Ukrainians in the UK adapt to their new life and stay psychologically resilient despite challenges like accommodation, money, education, etc.?
I think that Ukrainians who are living now on the territory of the UK have to forget about Ukraine in their thoughts, to return back. Otherwise, they will never be successful in the United Kingdom. You must burn up your boat.
Yes, I know a lot of British people asking me, do you think you will come back to Ukraine? But when I think that I have permission to live here only for 5 years and even the king doesn't know what will happen in the future, and it's so crazy that I cannot plan ahead my future, and I can see my life only in these couple years, and after nobody knows what will happen. Also, another question is, what are the opportunities for me to stay here?
Interesting question. Regardless of opportunity you have or which you will have in the future on the territory of UK, you should cast your rod or your thought, your thinking beyond next 2, 3, maybe 5 years. It looks like you should believe that you will have not only opportunity, but a possibility to live and to stay in the UK, to continue your life here.
Yeah, for now it's a little bit hard because the conditions they said are quite complicated. It's skilled work visa or talented visa. And so there are many things you have to go through to get this visa. And you have to be an employee of a licensed employer who is ready to invest in you, or otherwise marry a person who have the permission to live here.
Yes, ma'am, to get married.
So your answer will be forget about Ukraine at all?
Of course not. Not to forget Ukraine at all. You have to be very careful. I have to be very careful with this expression of the words. I just want to say that a person who put on his or her foot on the British island and other foot on the Ukraine would not get anything, because he or she will not be successful either in Britain or in Ukraine. That is, you need to decide that you are going to make your life here, or for me, it's there on the territory of UK. And it is much harder for those who are going or thinking or dreaming to return to Ukraine because they are suspended or hanging on the air because they not know when it will happen and how.
So put the focus on living in a new country and not looking back.
Yes. You cannot be successful until you will focus on this country only. Maybe you can get married with a guy from English-speaking countries. Canada, US, Australia, New Zealand, and others.
Who knows? God only knows. So you're ready for the next question?
Yeah.
British culture values politeness and respect for personal boundaries. And many people, they avoid asking questions about Ukrainians' past for fear of causing pain. How can you find the right balance between tact and genuine support to make Ukrainians feel accepted and understood?
If some British wants to show support for Ukrainians, they should first find out what a real Ukrainian need is. Because some Ukrainians are already tired, maybe exhausted of being asked what they experienced during the Russian attack. So it's just a matter of asking the Ukrainian, how can I help you?
So this question came from my personal experience, because some people here, they are afraid to ask questions about the war. They cannot openly say, I don't know how to ask you. Maybe it's a difficult topic to talk.
Maybe. It's very individual, because it is impossible to answer this question in a standard, common way. I think that any person who wants to help a Ukrainian can make contact and ask the person individually.
Therefore, this help can take many forms. It can be verbal support or anything else. But then there is a question of when you don't have such a close relationship and maybe they would like to understand us more, but they are afraid to approach us because the culture is too polite and they are afraid of offending us. And so people think, I would rather not even ask.
The culture is maybe sometimes too polite. The answer is simple. My answer is simple. An individual approach is needed. One person needs to be asked, how are you feeling? How's life treating you here on the islands? Another needs a hug, and another should be invited somewhere so he doesn't feel like an outsider in that community. Because a Brit might not want to cross boundaries, but a Ukrainian would interpret it as I'm not needed here at all.
Thank you for your answer. So the next question is, what is the difference in anxiety or mental health care between those who stayed in Ukraine and those who immigrated?
Anxiety is treated the same way everywhere. The difference might be in certain nuances, but anxiety is always about uncertainty. Anxiety is often a suppressed emotion, insecurity in life, an unstable position in life, and thoughts about the future.
So anxiety is the same for everyone, but the cause of this anxiety is different because in Ukraine you fear being killed.
It's more about trying to explain your anxiety based on the situation. But anxiety is not about specific fears. It's all about uncertainty, instability. And it's a mistake to think that you have to find the reason for your anxiety. Instead of it, it's necessary to find the reason not in the external world, but to show that the reason is inside the person, inside of you. If a person is under shelling, they don't have as much anxiety as fear of dying. Anxiety and fear are different things.
Yes, I agree. Anxiety and fear is different things. But in situations like this, for example, being in Ukraine, does it expose your anxiety more?
Of course.
And abroad?
Being abroad when you don't know what will happen to you next, doesn't it expose you? It really does.
It's the same. Okay, I will read the quote and you tell me you agree with this quote or not. Marcus Aurelius: when circumstances disturb the balance of the spirit, regain your composure as soon as possible and do not remain in a depressed mood for too long. Otherwise, nothing will help you. The habit of restoring harmony will improve you.
Will it improve me? Well, this verb improve is more suitable for a mechanism or for a habit, yeah? Not for a person. It's actually not a bad piece of advice, but it's unclear how to do it. Something like you feel yourself like rubbish, just make yourself feel better. Too simplistic.
You feel like rubbish, just go into the harmony, but how? There is no tool for it.
Well, here the advice is probably more like don't allow yourself to stay in imbalance. I agree with that. Don't justify feeling bad. Get yourself out of it. Otherwise, you can fall into a destructive state, depression.
Thank you for your deep answers. So now we have Blitz. Regarding our topic, what book can you advise to our listeners?
It's my book, The Greatest Parents on the Earth.
Oh, wow. Do you have a book? What is this about?
This is practical guide for raising children and self-development for adults in areas where they are stuck in their growth.
Wow, that's cool. For the British audience, the worst words you can say to someone in difficult times.
Oh, the most stupid phrase is calm down, relax.
Calm down, everything will be okay. The best words you can say to a person in difficult times.
Let me stay with you for a while.
Let me stay with you. How deep it is. Okay, next question. What help us grow psychologically?
To learn and to know more about yourself. To ask a question, what do I feel right now?
Ask a question about what I'm feeling right now.
Here and now. What do I feel? That's interesting. What kind of feeling it was or it is?
That's very cool and practical. Do you think that everyone needs a therapy with a psychologist, or is it enough to talk to a friend?
I think it's very well-known information that about a quarter of the human population have mental problems. Not maybe not mental distortion, but mental problems. Other quarter have a communion with this quarter so-called mental people.
They communicate with those people, and do you think it has influence?
Yes, maybe 80% of the population have to visit a psychologist.
Okay, thank you so much for your answers. It was incredibly enriching conversation.
Thank you.
I believe we all have plenty to reflect on and apply in our lives.